Hey, my lovely Willow Vibes tribe members. I am Jessica from Willow Vines Intuitive Vibes, and I'm here to just share messages. It's not really a collective message. It's thoughts and just going over things, and I don't know, whatever the hell that is. Like the videos, comment, share, and don't forget to subscribe to join the tribe. So anyways, I did like a share last night, and I was just saying that a couple years before something happened to someone, I had predicted it. And I was looking for the Abraham Lincoln video that I did in 2020 or whenever the fuck it was posted, because I don't remember exactly when it was. I really don't. And of course, every time I'd scroll back, it would only go 2 years back. But when I would search, I'd find videos from like 4 or 5 years ago, but it wasn't the ones I was looking for. So I know that YouTube still has them. I just don't know where the fuck they are. And I was like, okay. So I came across another video. And it was a channeled message, and it was about Michael Jackson, which didn't get very many views. And I see why, because it can be assumed to be opinion based, basically, and it is what it is. But I was listening to it because I was drawn to it. So I was like, all right, what did I say here? So I was listening, and I'm just kind of like, with the Michael Jackson part, I was just kind of like not really paying close attention. And kind of like, yeah, whatever, which is probably how most people viewed that video, just saying. And honestly, I do believe that he was truly with me in that moment, because I was channeling some fucked up shit. And that's not the only Michael Jackson video I've ever done. And I heard he'd be back, like he would come and go. I don't know, because in spirit form, it does not matter if you were larger than life, a celebrity, or whatever. We're all equal if you think about it. But a lot of people, from a human standpoint, we think like, why the fuck would a celebrity come to just any Joe Schmo? Because if you are gifted, your light shines. You're like a beacon. You're like a lighthouse, and a moth to a flame. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what your status was in life. The dead come to whoever can relay messages or speak or whatever. So regardless of him or anyone else, what I found weird was, I'm looking for the Abraham Lincoln video, okay? And the reason why I was because I'm like, why did I feel it twice? Yeah, they were there. They came to me in 2020 when I did the video on it. Can't find a fucking thing. But regardless of that, when I looked in the book, that's when I realized why I was feeling the way I was feeling. And I'm like, okay, so why? And I said that in the video, like, was it just to draw me to the attention of the person that I predicted their death 2 years prior? Was that what it was about? Because that's what I was thinking. Like, maybe I was feeling that sensation. I'm going, oh my God, and then flip the page and this is what I need. No, the dead talks to us in weird ways. And I feel like that was significant, at least for me, because it was confirmation. It was very weird. Like, I was like, oh my God, I didn't see it that way. I didn't, and I've explained that. But regardless, I don't know, I was thinking about the fact that the first time I picked up on Abraham Lincoln's death and stuff, him and his wife, was an election year, and this year, 2024, is also an election year, and that those sensations came back. And I was drawn back to the book and read about it. And I was like, it's fucking interesting, like, why? And then I'm looking for the video to see why, because I was like, what did I say? Like, is there something significant besides their deaths and everything that could bring me answers? And the video I clicked on was about Michael Jackson and about celebrity death. basically. It wasn't just about him, because I think it was like 25 minutes in, and I did save this video, and I might share it. And if you care to listen, great. Like, reshare it, because I've already shared it a couple years ago. I don't know. It was a year ago. And I said, it was like 25 something minutes in, where I said there's a public figure that's not him, who's still alive to this day, that a similar thing would happen, basically, is what I was getting at. I don't remember exactly what I fucking said, but maybe watch the video. And I said that this person was known around the world, that they were presumed to be arrogant and egotistical, things like that. And it was weird, because as I was talking, I didn't name any names in that video. I was thinking of Donald Trump and the elections in the U.S. and you know, right now, what's going on. A lot of people do view him that way. Chauvinistic is what I said. That's the word I was looking for. But anyways, a lot of people view him that way. And I said that there would be someone with that characteristic. And I'm just saying Donald Trump popped in my head when I was watching the video. And I was just like, and I don't remember if I thought of him at the moment or not, because I wasn't pointing in any direction. And it wasn't an election year or anything like that, so I don't know why it would have even came up when I was reading about somebody completely different, you know what I mean? But if you think about it, Michael Jackson was larger than life. He had, you know, money and all that shit, clout, all that, and he was very popular. Well, Donald Trump is too. Whether you like him or you hate him, he's still popular. He's a fucking billionaire, and he is known around the world. Not just because of his presidency. He was known way before that. So it just makes sense. And that's who I was talking about. And I said it pertained to an election year where, and I don't follow politics. I don't. I really don't. And I said it pertained to an election year, and to be careful what you eat and drink, because someone you trust is gonna slip you something that could represent or show up as cardiac, but kind of stomach too. Like, my stomach hurt with it. It wasn't just like, you know, it wasn't that. It was my guts were twisting at the same time, and I said that. That's what I felt. So I don't know if that's someone's intention or not, and I know this ain't gonna go very far, you know, I don't have that many fucking views, but I want to bring it up again for some reason, because it's just weird to me that I feel the Abraham Lincoln shit 4 years ago, and then I feel it again 4 years later, and I'm talking about the elections, and there's some friggin' significance with that, like, never forget. And Michael Jackson, like I said, was larger than life, and he was murdered. I don't give a fuck what anyone says. He was. And regardless of your opinion of that and whatever, because, you know, case closed, that type of shit. Shit like that happens a lot with public figures. Like, we gotta get rid of so-and-so. Like, look at Epstein. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even really know what the whole story with that motherfucker, but I just know he didn't off himself. Regardless of whatever the fuck he was involved in, you know what I mean? Because, like I said, I don't pay attention to these people. I don't read tabloids. I don't pay attention to the news. I'm not that type of person. I'm just not. You know, there are certain people that will preach crap to me, politically and otherwise, and I'll fact check it and just kind of be like, oh, and I'll make my own assumptions. I go off from what I feel, no matter what the media says, no matter what people say. That's just how I roll, and not everyone rolls that way, you know. But regardless of me and my perspective on this person, that person, and all this other shit, it's it's weird because I'm not predicting anything here. I really don't want to say it that way, like that I'm like, oh, this is what's going to happen. I'm not. I'm saying that that was really fucked up. That's the video that I was drawn to click on from a year ago because I'm searching for something completely separate. And and it made me think of him during an election year, which is now. And I was talking before in another video about how I predicted the death of someone 2 years before it happened, you know? So I'm thinking, like, the wheels are turning, going like, wait a minute. People might think I'm nuts, I don't care. I don't really give a fuck what anyone thinks of me. And most people in high life, the life is flashing here. No, the light. That was kind of ironic, right? When I'm going like, I don't give a fuck what people think. And I probably shouldn't, but there are times that I do. But not the majority of the time. Because if I cared, I wouldn't share half the shit I do. But it's not about proving myself right or wrong here. It's just weird to me. It's just strange that I was mentioning, like, the Lincoln stuff. He didn't want to die in vain. He shouldn't die in vain. Always remember history. Don't allow history to repeat itself. There's so much corruption in politics. There's so much bullshit that goes on, especially in the U.S. I can't speak for other countries because I don't fucking know. I barely know what's going on around here, just saying. And I really hope that what I felt and said in that video, like I said, I might share it, like reshare it so you guys can see if you care to, doesn't happen because, but it makes sense. It fucking makes sense. You know, you take out the enemy. Even if they're not the enemy, you take out the person who's going to make changes because there's so much. I think I said something along the lines in the video, like there's so much potential or so much. It's not prosperity, but there's, yeah, it's potential basically. There's so much potential here. We gotta kibosh it. Like, that's what it felt like to me. And I'm going, oh my God, that is like what I said was 1,000% Trump, where someone would want to just sweep it under the rug, wipe it away, wash it away, like he never existed, because you want to take out the competition. Sometimes people like legit want to take out the competition, no matter if it's like on a major level or a minor level. It's like, oh, you're my competitor. Bye bye. You know what I mean? Like, bye, bitch. But what's really fucking weird too is this morning I just shuffled some cards out of this deck. And it took a minute for shit to come out. So whatever this is, it's taking a minute for you to spit it out or for something to come to fruition or for it to make sense. And the card that came out was Death. And that's the only card I pulled. And I just left it on the table and I was like, death, an ending. Whether it's a literal death or not. And here I am talking about fucking death. I'm just saying. Somebody passing. And it's like, I don't know. I pulled it and I was like, don't know what it's about. And I walked away all day. And what time? I don't know what time it is. It's like, it's late. It's like 10 something, 10 p.m. And then I decided to pull a couple cards to clarify this. And we got Cursed Castle. A tower of shadows, crumbling stone. Once a golden cage that now shines no more. So it's like taking down someone or something that is important. You know, defacing monuments, destroying them. They're no longer there. Like this once stood here, stood tall, and it shined for everyone. Gone, you know? Or a person who is rich, who has influence on the masses, on whatever, a group of people, We need to dull their shine. We need to end their shine. We need to take away what people see within them. And I know there's a lot of people that hate Trump. I'm not saying that every fucking person ever is like, oh, he's amazing. But the one thing I will say about him, and the reason why I like him, is not because of his personality. That's for fucking damn sure. It's not because of that. I disagree with how he handles himself and presents himself, and there's a lot of things I don't like about him. But when he was our president, every motherfucking thing that he said that he would accomplish, he did. He did. If he couldn't do it, he made efforts towards it. Do you know what I mean? Like, and then, of course, the Democratic Party came in and undid fucking everything, and now they're trying to redo it. Like it's their fucking idea in the first place, which is just how corrupt people work. And I am independent. I'm not a Republican or a Democrat. I am in the middle of the road, because I actually leaned more Democrat in the past, but I don't agree with 90% of the bullshit they're pulling. I don't. And I did vote for Trump. Whether you like me, you hate me, I don't care. And if you don't like me because of my views, then I guess we're just not in the same place. So it is what it is. I don't really care what people know about me when it comes to what I do and don't do. Obviously I share it, so obviously I don't give a fuck. But I was kind of torn with him in the beginning because of how he is, and it's almost like who he is at his core goes against everything I represent. But I actually believed in him, and I was proven right when he was in office. I mean, he did make an ass of himself 90% of the time. He still is. He still does. That's just who he fucking is. But he made shit happen. And that's all I fucking care about when it comes to my president. Like, the person that's going to run this country. I care who is going to take care of business, basically. If you're a fucking cock knocker in your personal life, that ain't my fucking problem. That's not my deal. It's just like your boss who gives you your paycheck every week. He might be a cocksucker personally, but as long as he pays your bills, as long as he gives you that paycheck, as long as he does what he says he's going to do, that's all you care about, right? Exactly. That's how the country's run. You know, who gives a shit about his personal life? If he wants to tweet about some hoe or he fucking paid a hooker, who gives a fuck? I'm just saying, like, you know, people with money do weird shit. They just do. Humanity is fucked. But there's something weird with this. And that's why I'm bringing it up. It has nothing to do with Trump himself. I mean, unless he's the one that's going to be fucking offed in a weird way, because that's what it seems like. And that was the comparison with Michael Jackson. Like, everyone was saying, oh, he had problems. He had a drug addiction. You know, this was an accident, that kind of thing. But was it? No, it wasn't, because he had a doctor, you know, someone who was legally bound to provide medical help for people and to do shit in their best fucking interest there, that went against medical guidelines, because propofol was never supposed to be administered outside of an OR. Basically, like, you had to be in a medical setting for it to be administered to you, because it's what anesthesiologists use to put your ass out, to knock you out. It's not a restful sleep. It's a medication that just lights out. So you're not actually sleeping. You're just unconscious. There's a total difference. And whether he was addicted to it or not, when you have money, you can get access to weird shit, and people will go, like, what is it? They'll play fast and loose with the fine lines of morality, basically. Like, oh, is this right or wrong or whatever, because I want the money. No, they throw shit out the window all the time. And I really, truly believe that he was fucking murdered. I felt it, I've sensed it, I've always known it. It is what it is, and I don't care if anyone believes me or not, because we're not talking about him. It's just an example of how it's easy to manipulate people when you have money, you know? And I'm not saying Trump is manipulating the country or people because he has money. I'm saying that when you're a public figure like that, because think of it, Michael Jackson was larger than life. Everyone fucking loved him. He was a star from the time he was a fucking child all the way up. And it didn't matter if he was in debt or not. The world wanted to see him. They wanted a piece of him. Do you know what I mean? So he was worth money. He was actually worth way more money dead than alive, because he owned a lot of, had to do with record deals and shit like that. Like he owned the Beatles records and a lot of people's stuff. So let's get our hands on this crap and do it discreetly. You know what I mean? Oh, he has an addiction. He has a problem. This is going on. We can just make it look like, oop, fuck up kind of thing. And the doctor will pay the price temporarily, because it really wasn't a big price that the doctor had to pay, just saying. And problem solved. Now we're rich. We got what we wanted, and end of story. You know what I mean? That's kind of what I'm getting at with the whole Trump analogy thing, whether it's gonna happen or not, but death is here. I'm just saying. We want to win the election. We don't want you to win. You know what I mean? Like, let's take the competitor out, because nobody else is going to compete, or nobody else is going to win because nobody knows your fucking name, or, you know, whatever. I'm just saying. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm just saying it's fucking weird that I said that a year ago, and I'm being led in this direction, which is why I'm saying it's weird. Because I'm not saying this or that. I'm really not. But it makes sense to me. And I don't know if it makes sense to any of you, because I don't know if I'm explaining it right, or if you're just going to be like, oh, she's a crackpot, whatever. I don't really care. Most of you won't think I'm a crackpot, but most of you probably won't care, because, you know, not everyone's from the U.S. for one, but it's a life, and that shit happens. That happens no matter what country you're in. If you have clout, people will try to take your ass out. You wanna know why? Because they're jealous. Because you're doing better than them. Because you can offer more than they can. So just ask yourself this. When you've got like two people to choose from, no matter what we're talking about, they're both promising the world, you know? But one is going and just attacking and attacking and attacking, and why? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's normal to have that debate where fuck you, you know, the back and forth fuck yous. That's totally normal. But when someone's being underhanded and digging in, like digging for dirt, when they're looking for the tea, and they bring shit up from your past, they're looking to destroy you. That's what they're doing. Whether it's a celebrity or not, when people do that, it's because they're grasping at straws, going, I have nothing against you right now, but I will find something. And when I find it, I'm going to fucking knock you over. And the other person's like, go ahead. You know what I mean? Like, you're just a weak whatever. That's what politics are nowadays, at least in the U.S. That's exactly how it is. And the Democratic Party is digging for dirt when it comes to Trump, which is where all this fucking hoe-bag bullshit came from. It's fucking pathetic when people have to grasp at straws like that to take you down. Why don't you talk about current events? When we're talking about politics, why don't you go at someone and say, what do you represent? What are you going to bring to the table so I can combat that? No, we don't do it like that around here. No, we don't. You know, it's like a fight to the death. And sometimes it literally happens. I mean, for example, Abraham Lincoln's a good example, which is probably why I felt the way I felt. He wanted to abolish slavery during a time when 90% of white men, because they were the only people that could fucking own anything at the time, didn't want that. You wanna know why? Because it's free labor. You don't have to pay a housekeeper. You don't have to pay someone to fucking mow your fields and tend to your crops and do all that shit. You just own someone. It's like a flat payment. I bought you, and now you have to do all of this, so I'm saving all this fucking money. That's what it was back then. So there was a lot of people who were against abolishing slavery for that reason. Just selfish reasons. They were greedy. It's the way it was, whatever. And Abraham Lincoln was like, this ain't fucking right. They are people. And there were a lot of black Americans who were fighting for our country and freedoms and fighting to they were fighting to abolish slavery during the time, but that wasn't the main reason for the Civil War. I mean it kind of was, but not. There was other reasons. So anyways, they were part of it, and these people were dying too. And it's like, blood is blood. When blood is shed, it's all the fucking same. We're the same color on the inside. You know what I mean? It's just we might look a little different depending on where the fuck we live because of the way the sun is. Basically, I didn't get much sun, so I'm white as shit. But regardless of our skin tone and stuff and where we come from, he thought it wasn't right. He was fighting for what he believed was right. Like, we are all living, breathing individuals, and we all deserve the right to live our best lives and to thrive in whatever way possible. And that's what he fought for. And he was a little cutthroat. If you actually really look into what he did and to win the war, it was a little underhanded, but he didn't kill anyone. Do you know what I mean? Like, he didn't take anyone out like, oh, you're my competitor, I'm going to murder you so I get what I want. That's not what it was. Even though a lot of people did die during the Civil War, it wasn't like a vendetta against a specific person. It was just like, this is a casualty of war. And a lot of people died on his side, on the Union side. And it's extremely sad. But it wasn't in vain. They didn't die in vain because slavery ended up being abolished. And then some greedy, jealous motherfucker came in and killed him because he didn't get what he wanted. Do you know what I mean? Still happens to this day. Whether you're in politics or not. And it's not just because he accomplished his goal and then, his purpose in life was served and now he's dead. No, it was because some selfish motherfucker came in and decided his fate. That happens all the time. So you can't say that I'm 1,000% wrong here, I really feel like Trump has had a target on his head for a long time. But he wasn't a threat until now. He might have been a threat back in 2020 during the elections, but was he really that much of a threat? Because he never proved himself. But then after he won and then did prove himself, now he's a threat. Do you know what I'm saying? I might sound like a conspiracy theorist or whatever, but it makes fucking sense to me, and I'm saying it for a reason, no matter what it means to you. Even if you can place the information between you and another person in your life, it's something fucked up is coming. And I've said, it's weird because I've said this before to people I know, like just in my physical environment shit, and it's like, I will vote for Trump. I will, regardless of what other people say. Just because that's what I feel and what I believe. And it's weird because part of me thinks he'll win the election, but the other part of me doesn't think he will win. And I almost feel like the reason why the other part of me doesn't think he'll win is because I think he might die. And not of natural causes, which is probably how it will be mentioned to everyone else. Oh, he just had a fucking heart attack or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, it's weird because I feel like the part of me that feels like he's gonna win is the part that is like, if this didn't happen, he will. Like, if he doesn't die, he will win. I don't know. I just feel like he will. But I feel like there's an ending here that might stop that. That's just what I feel. Whether I'm right or wrong, I'm just saying it because I feel like I should. So that's what I do. I go off from what I feel. And there's nothing I could do or say to stop any of this if it were to happen. That's just how I feel. It's almost like the only reason why he wouldn't win is if he died. I hope that that doesn't happen, but it's weird that I fucking mentioned that a year ago, and I'm going, that sounds a lot like fucking Trump, and now we're in an election year. I hope not. And that's how I roll, because I don't always fucking know. Like, when I get messages like that, especially with public figures, I don't even want to dive into it. I don't want to deal with it. I don't want to talk about it, whether I know or not. And then after the fact, it's very easy to say, like, oh yeah, that's what I was thinking. My ears ringing. That's what I was thinking. That's what happened. You know, like, oh my God, I, I should have said it. That's why I'm not afraid to be wrong, because if I am right, I guess I said it sooner. Well, I already said it a year ago. I just didn't mention his name. But I don't know. Shit like that comes to me for a reason. So no matter what it means to you, it is what it is. I don't want to sit here and tell myself again, because I've done this to myself many times, that, oh, I knew that. But I said it after the fact because I didn't trust myself enough to fucking say it sooner. You know, so let that be a lesson to all of you too. If you have something you need to say, if you feel strongly about something, speak up. Whether you're right or wrong, you still spoke up. And then if you're proven right, and if it's something shitty, it's like, well, I don't really want to be proven right. It's just, I said it. Like, do you know what I mean? So you're not doing it after the fact. You're actually being proactive and stating shit sooner. Especially if you deal with the metaphysical or psychic shit. It's always good to say it sooner, whether it comes to fruition or not. You know, because we never really truly know until we get that concrete evidence. And then we go, fuck. Like, I fucking knew that was going to happen, but no one's going to believe me because it's after the fact. It's just like, oh, of course, everyone says that. Like, do you know what I mean? I don't know. This isn't a laughing matter. It's just fair judgment. Be kind to yourself is what I want to say with this. And trust me, in this situation, if something bad does end up happening in the whole political world, justice will be served. Something will be found out if this goes south, you know, if something bad happens. Because I almost want to say, like, what's the justice in all of this? When that shit happens, like, if you think of Abraham Lincoln and how he accomplished so much, and then it's over. It's like, how is that justice? How can that ever be justified? Well, it can be. It's just, he's not suffering. He didn't have to deal with the rest of what was to come, you know what I mean? He did serve his purpose, but I don't know, for some reason I just want to say this for that. Like, quid pro quo. I'll do this for that. It's a sacrifice. He definitely sacrificed himself for the country, for the U.S. Because a lot of people sacrificed their lives for the same freedoms. What makes him any different? you know? So I guess that's a justice in the situation, at least from a positive perspective. And trust me, all those who are evil do pay. Whether you see it or believe it, they do. But somebody's going to think that their actions are justified because they disagree. That's what this is all about. Like, I'm against you. I disagree. So my actions are justified in all of this. No matter what the subject matter is, no matter who the person is, that's what someone's thinking. It's like taking justice into their own hands, matters into their own hands, playing God. But that's where I'm going to leave this one because it doesn't feel like I should go any further. And I really hope that what I saw tonight, what I said a year ago, because I rewatched the video, doesn't happen. But I am choosing to speak up. I'm choosing to say whatever I feel because, like I said before, when I was talking about my friend who had passed away, who was murdered, I knew he was going to get shot 2 years before it happened. I just didn't. I thought it was about me. I was confused about the messages. I'm not confused about these messages, but it makes sense to me. And I feel like saying it. And that's why I said it. And that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Love you guys. Peace.